everyone, I'm Trisha, a writer and a gardener, and welcome to my channel. In today's video 5 and 5, where I tell you 5 things under 5 minutes, I'm going to be talking about my favorite plants. Plants I'd save in case of an emergency like a fire or a flood. That's only after I save my family and my cats. But if I have time for a few plants, why not? Because my heart will completely break to leave all my plants behind. Anyway, this is an imagined scenario, and fingers crossed it never happens to me or anyone else. But God knows this is a tough video because it's really hard to choose when you love, well, most of your plants. So let's begin. So gun to my head, my first choice would be this Anthurium clarinervium because I simply adore it. I've had it for about 4 years now, and apart from a few brown edges, crisp brown edges like these, I've had no problems with the plant. It's pretty even tempered, but above all else, I simply adore its aesthetics. It's got these smooth, velvety, almost cardboard-like leaves that are nice to touch. The venation is bright and striking, as you can see, and the plant itself is pretty compact to be able to showcase indoors, unlike some of the other larger anthuriums that really eat up indoor space. I have this anthurium growing in a very porous and airy potting mix because anthuriums are epiphytes, meaning they grow on trees and other such things, and they derive their nutrients from the rain and the air. I water this plant only when the soil is very dry, and I keep it on a pebble tray to boost humidity because they love it. This Anthurium clarinervium has my heart, and it's the first plant that I'll save. My second plant is this Begonia Missoniana, the Ironcross begonia. Firstly, begonias are probably my favorite ornamentals. I love them because they offer such diversity in foliage and patterns and texture and color. I have a few more begonias and many more in propagation, but this Ironcross is simply my favorite because of its matte texture and color. This green looks especially more fluorescent during the monsoon because of the contrast with the gray skies. And although this plant lives in a pot which is much too large for it, as you can see, I've only filled the soil halfway to avoid root rot because begonias hate wet feet. So I water this when the soil is pretty dry, and this plant hangs on my west facing balcony, and although it gets ample light, it doesn't get any direct light. So yeah, this is my second favorite plant, the Begonia Ironcross. My third plant is this variegated monstera. I mean, I can't not save this plant because look at how gorgeous it is. And also, I can't leave a variegated monstera behind. I also have a smaller one, which would be ideally more practical and sensible to pick up during an emergency. But this is all hypothetical anyway, right? So this would be my third plant. Unlike the smaller monstera, I have this one growing in leca only. And it seems to be very happy because it puts out a new leaf every month. So this is my third plant because I'll be a fool not to save a variegated monstera. My fourth favorite plant is this Phylum sprucinum, previously called a philodendron goldii. I love everything about this plant. Firstly, it's a philodendron, so it's not fussy. And besides its easygoing nature, I adore the shape of its leaves, which are quite different from your regular houseplant leaves. But the real reason I want to save this plant is because I desperately want to see what it looks like when it matures. I mean, I've seen those pictures online and it just looks divine. And since it's a slow grower, at least for me, I will definitely be saving it. I grow this plant in a very chunky potting mix, and I allow the soil to dry out before watering. So yeah, this is my fourth plant, the Phylum sprucinum. Moving on to my last and final plant, it is the Maiden Headphone. Because boy, anyone who's kept this fern alive for more than a year knows that it isn't easy. So I'm going to suck it up and save this plant after how much it's made me work. But to be very honest, I've always loved Maiden Headphones. They're beautiful, with the most delicate and artistically pleasing foliage, and they're cheap and easy to find in nurseries. What's not to love, right? So yeah, this is my final plant, the Maiden Headphone. I know this is cheating, but while I'm running around saving all the superstars, I definitely slip a lithop or two into my pocket. I mean, why shouldn't I make use of empty pockets, right? Smart thinking. Also, the thought of leaving these little guys in a raging inferno will guilt trip me for the rest of my life, and I can't live with that. So yeah, so this is my final, last, and cheat plant. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to know what your top 5 plants are. So do leave your favorites in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel because it helps me keep making these videos for you. See you next week. Bye.